All right, you guys. So I'm doing. Here's the homework help for today. So today we're supposed to do problems 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to start off with problem 2. I'm going to do the two more difficult ones. So leave some space for problem 1, and you want to use the first example in the packet to help you do problem 1, since it's a little bit different, since it's a little bit easier, right? So just to think about, how do we do this problem? So for this problem, we see that, we have 2 points. For each of the following pairs of points, find an equation of an exponential function with an asymptote of y equals 0 that passes through them, right? So all that means is that we're going to plug them into the equation y equals a times b to the x, right? We have x and y, right? X and y, x and y. So now we could plug them in here. So let's see what we get when we plug them in there, right? We're going to, y is 21, so we get 21 equals a times b to the 1, right? Because x is 1. Here we get y is 147, so we get 147 equals a times b to the 2, because x is 2. So now the whole idea of what we're going to do is we're going to solve both equations, right? This one has a b1, this one has a b2, so we're not going to solve them for b, right? But we're going to solve them for a, right? Because that won't be too bad. They both have an a. And to solve it for a, we just got to divide right here in the left. B is the same thing as b, right? So if you just look at this top line, it's the same, and then we divide both sides by b, right? That makes these guys cancel out. So then we're just left with 21 over b equals a. So then we're going to do the same thing here, except instead of dividing by b, we're going to divide by b squared. So when we do that, we get 147 divided by b squared, right, equals a times b squared divided by b squared. And we're doing that so that way these guys cancel out. And we're just left with 147 over b squared equals a. So now, just like mixing things in that we've done all year, we have two equations solved for a, right? Remember, this is called a system of equations, right? We have two equations, and you might remember that they are called equal value, right? Because they're both a equals. So we could just set one equal to the other. So we set one equal to the other, and then if you remember the special way how we do these proportional problems is we multiply across, right? We're going to say 21 times b squared and 147 times b, right? Going diagonal both ways. So we get 147b equals 21b squared. So now we want to pick the smaller b and divide by that on both sides. Right, 147 b over b equals 21b squared over b, right? That makes these guys cancel out. And then not only that, right, not only do these cancel out, but we have two b's on top and one b on bottom, right? So this is the same thing as just 21b. So now the next thing on the agenda is we got to divide by 21 on both sides, and then we're going to get it. So we divide by 21 on both sides, makes the 21s cancel out. And then we're just left with b equals 7. So luckily we got a whole number there, nothing too complicated. Now we have two equations, right? Remember these two equations right here. We just pick one of them, right? The one that looks easiest, which is, to me, the one on the left. And we're going to plug in 7 for b. So we get, right, 21 over 7 equals a. Right, so then we get 7 goes into 21, 3 times. Right? A equals 3, B equals 7. Plug it in here. We got our final answer. All right, so now we're going to do the next problem. So the next problem is going to be a little bit trickier. Right? It's the same thing as before, except we got some decimals in here. We got a negative over here, so we're going to see how that works. So first off, right, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to plug them into this y equals a times b to the x, right? We have our x and our y, our x and our y. Could scoot that over. Right, so now we're going to plug them in. So, right, y is 72.73, right? So we get 72.73 equals a times b to the negative 1 because x is negative 1. Right, over here, y is 106.48, so we get 106.48 equals a times b to the 3, right? X is 3. So now just taking this problem on the left, right? We want to solve for a, so we're going to divide by b to the negative 1 on both sides. Right, that makes these b's cancel out. And not only that, since this is a negative exponent, remember negative exponents we just place on the opposite side of the fraction. So we're going to pull this fraction up and change that negative to a positive one, right? Which is silent because we don't need an exponent of 1 because it's redundant. So what happened there was these b's canceled out, and we brought this b negative 1 up to the top. Then there was nothing left on the bottom, so we got rid of the denominator. We're just left with this. So on this side of the equation, right, instead of dividing by b negative 1, we're going to divide by b to the 3. That'll make these guys cancel out. And we're just going to be left with that fraction, right? 106.48 over b3 equals a. Not so bad. And now, we're going to still pretend like this is over 1, right? So, over 1. Change it back into a fraction. Just because, or you know what? I'll just make this into a fraction right now. Okay, yeah, just so because, so, right, we turn it into a fraction, right? When this b goes up top, there's nothing left on the bottom, so it's just a 1, right? And I have it a fraction just so that way we could still think about it like doing those proportional problems, right? Where we multiply diagonally. So now 1 times 106.48 is just 106.48. And B3 times 72.73, right? We have 1 B here, 3 B's here, so altogether we have 4 B's. So now we got to divide by 72.73. Right now we're in a problem like we did yesterday. So we're kind of combining all the skills that we've learned all year together, right? Systems of equations, solving these funky exponential equations. So we're going to, right, first things first, we got to get rid of anything before the b. So we divide by 72.73 on both sides, make these guys cancel, and then we are just going to be left with b to the 4th power equals 1.46405. Right? That's just 106.48 divided by 72.73 is 1.46405 approximately. So now what we're going to do, right, we're going to raise put parentheses around both sides and raise it to the 1/4 power. That makes these guys cancel out. So we're just left with b equals, and then change this to a radical, right? Drop that 4 to the outside. We get 1.46405 to the 4th root, which is 1.01. So now, what we're going to do is same thing. We find the equation that looks easier. I think this one looks easier. Right, let's ignore the 1 when we plug it back in. So we just get 72.73. Plug in 1.01 for BE equals A. Right, we're ignoring the divided by 1 because that doesn't mean anything. So we just multiply these together and then we get A equals 80. We have A equals 80, B equals 1.01. Plug it in here. Get Y equals 80 times 1.01 to the X. And we got our final answer.